pretty much everything I do, what I'm doing, so fill you in on all that. So at the moment I'm heading to Chris's place, so where my car's going to be at, where I'm doing the workout. So thank you to Chris for letting me use the space. I'm pretty grateful for it, because at the moment my house, I can't really do any big engine work or anything like that in there. It's just there's no room. So big thank you to that. So we'll head there now and so we're at Chris's shed now. That's where the chase is going to be for a while. I'll pull it apart. Show you in. This is Emily's R33. Just putting a new motor in it. Chris's S14. Then my car. I'm going to be doing another video on my car when it's done. Like I do a big walk around and everything of it to give you a more in-depth look. At the moment I don't really want to, because it's just not where I want it at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to show you what my plans are with it and like what's happened. So I did a TR6060 gearbox swap because I blew my second R154. So got that all in, then when was it? When I went to first drive it, the car had a misfire and I did all the checks I needed to for the misfire and still was there. Changed spark plugs, put different core packs on it, still there. So then we did a compression test and it was low in compression. Something's wrong with cylinder number 1. Could be valve, could be piston, I don't know. I won't know until I pull it apart, which is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to take you through it. So once all the engine's rebuilt and I've cleaned up everything, when I do the walk around video, I'll go over everything I've done to the car. I'll do that a separate video, and I'll do some driving and some POV videos of it just boosting. So this is the parts I've got so far. I'll go through them. This is the Hell's JZX100 ABS delete kit. So what I'll do is delete this ugly ABS unit. I don't like it, it takes up too much room. So I'm gonna delete that to make it. Got a new timing belt. Got all the seals for the valve covers. Got Golby's valve stem seals. Some more, the 3 main seals, cam seals, Welsh plugs. That's a tensioner, new pulley. I've got a Siltech idle air control valve. It's an upgraded idle air control valve, which is better, and it runs in AN fitting, which is good because that's the factory one there. It replaces that, gets rid of that altogether and puts that new one on, which it also changes it to an AN fitting. So I can get rid of this. This is what I don't like. I've got some coolant hose from a Tirana joined to a braided line, which goes all the way into my intake. I really don't like how that's set up with the hose clamp. It's caused me many idling issues. That's why I've had to find that bend there to make it work better. But that's ARP head studs. I do have HKS 272 264 cams with, I think it's BC titanium valve springs and retainers, but it doesn't have any head studs, so definitely putting them in. 2JZ oil pump, brand new water pump, a Golby's exhaust cam gear, yeah, it looks nice. Brand new vvti solenoid. Just pretty much gonna make this engine pretty much brand new. So when I have it apart, depending on the condition of the motor and what's wrong with it, if it's a piston, I'm doing full oversized pistons with HPM rods. Then I'm gonna do all new bearings, all new crank bearings. So pretty much it's gonna be a brand new motor. So I'll set up a time lapse of me I've got to jack it up, pull the box out. So got it up in the position to get the gearbox out. One annoying thing about these low cars is like, oh, they're a pain to lift up. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do now, pull out my gearbox, pull out exhaust, go from there. So it's been some time. I've dropped the car down, I've pulled the tail shaft exhaust off and removed the gearbox. Here's a TR6060. Have to wait a little bit for someone to come help me pull it out because I can't take that out by myself. It's bloody. I'm gonna call it a night there. I'll come back in the morning and finish the rest of it. So pull out the radiator, pull off dump pipe, everything, intercooler piping. I had to take the bloody guard off to do it. I hate that about JZXs. Tomorrow I'll do the wiring loom and pull the motor out. But yeah, I'll pick this up tomorrow and we'll get the motor out. Next day, we'll get stuck in trying to pull the motor out today. That's my plan. Probably won't leave until I do. I haven't got too much left anyway, so I've got undo the fuel system, undo the wiring and the AC compressor, and it should be right to come out once the engine mounts are done. So we've removed the wiring loom, power steering pump, and everything from the motor, so it's just about ready to come out. We just got to do the engine mounts. You can really see how dirty this motor was, just caked full of shit. So yeah, I'll set it up and we'll yank this thing out. Motor out, put it on the engine stand. So what I'm probably going to do today is rip the exhaust manifold off, intake manifold off, get the valve covers off and rip the head off, and then I can finally inspect what's wrong with it. Then I can plan over the week what I'm going to do with like ordering stuff. And in the engine bay wise, it is filthy, like just proper gunk of crap, so I'll give that a good degrease next week when I have time to work on it. So I've got a bit of the motor part, as you saw. Just inspecting out of there, all the cams look good. So this motor was proper dirty. It's even seeing, you can see all the dirt that's on it. Coming over to the, just like layered of gunk. So I'm probably planning to get this thing looking schmick. Even the block, just disgusting. Hey going, back here again. Finally got the tool I needed for it, so finally get stuck into it to try and get the head off so I can figure out what's going wrong with it. All I needed was that hex key. So I'll set these up and we'll rip this thing off. So I got the head off. Visual inspection, I can't really see anything too bad. Like, all the pistons look pretty good, nothing too bad about them, like no damage. Everything in the head looks alright. But one thing I did notice is that the cylinder number 1, which has the low compression, so this had 70 psi, this had 110, 120, 120, 110 and 120, and I saw that, I don't know if you can see it, the piston is sitting against the front of the block compared to the back, so there's a bigger gap to the front. So regardless of that, I've got it apart. I'm gonna put new pistons, put new rods. Just gonna build it anyway while I've got it apart. So it's gonna be all nice and fresh when I'm done. Right, I'm gonna leave it there. So stay tuned for the next part series of the build. I'll be disassembling the engine more, taking all the pistons and everything out, getting it ready for the machine shop. I'll be taking the chaser out and degreasing all the engine bay. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you've got any questions or anything, chuck them in the comments. I'll get to them. So, alright, cheers.